Hello, welcome to the fifth and final video for EasyTeach Next Generation for the faculty at Old St. Mary's School. In this final video, we'll be talking about special effects in EasyTeach. It's very similar to special effects in PowerPoint. If you're used to that, it'll help. If not, that's okay too. And just use this as a basis moving forward for creating some examples in your classroom with RM EasyTeach. That adds some interactivity and some fun to the lesson. Let's get started. The first example that I have to show to you is a game. And this particular one is called Who's That Scientist? I've also used this in the Catholic schools with Who's That Saint? Who's that historical figure? Who's that politician? Who's that anything? You can even use this for what's that object? What's that place? Where's that place? This is just any kind of game that you'd like. All right. The idea here is that I can reveal clues one at a time about a scientist, and as I reveal clues, the students get an opportunity to answer who is that scientist for points. For example, my first clue is born in France, and if the students were to guess it at this point correctly, they'd get 7 points. I ask my class for guesses. There are no guesses. My second clue, one of the 3 founding fathers of microbiology. At this point, I might get a couple more guesses. Still nobody has it. So I reveal my final clue. He invented a method to keep milk free of many diseases. Finally, a student guesses Louis Pasteur, and I say, yes, that's correct. Here's a scary looking picture of him. If I've talked about this in class, we can talk about that, review what we've learned. Otherwise, I can move on. Right? You'll notice that if I tap these pieces of text, or if I tap the picture or his name again, it goes right back to the way that I started with. All right, so you can enable or disable special effects pretty easily. Let me show you another example of special effects. Right? On the next screen, I have vertebrae or invertebrae, and by tapping on or off, you can see, right? Each of these animals has a little bit of text that appears with it, right, that turns on and off. So I'm going to go to my picture bank. I'm going to take off page objects, and I'm going to put up there illustrations. Okay. And I'm going to take Apple and put it into the page. Right. I'll take that then using the teacher tool. I'm going to take that, size it up a little bit, and I'm going to put some text with it. Just an easy little text box here, just like that. And I'll size it down just a little bit. Beautiful. So I have Apple and the word Apple. At this point, I'd like to apply a special effect. In EasyTeach, all of the special effects are down here under the blue stars. Right? Let's start with the text itself. So I'm going to tap the little apple, the text for Apple, and I'm going to apply an effect. I'm going to enable an effect on the selected object, the one that I clicked on, and that effect will be swirl. And notice you can set the strength of the swirl. I'll set it pretty high. I recommend that you do the same. And notice instantly, using the student arrow, that text will swirl and unswirl. Right? You can do the same thing to a piece of text, or excuse me, you can do the same thing to an image. I'll demonstrate that now. So I'll take airplane, toss it in there. I'm going to use the duplicate tool for Apple, right? And have this labeled as airplane. Make it nice and big. There we go. And this time for the airplane, I'm going to do hide reveal. Right? So I'm going to go down to special effects. I'm going to select hide or reveal an object. It will hide or reveal the object that I've selected. And notice again with the student arrow, if I tap on that plane, it will hide. If I tap there again, it will appear. You'll notice that because I copy-pasted the Apple text, that the special effect went along with it. So this is important. Right? If you've got the special effects set just the way that you want, leave it there and then use copy-paste to save time creating the rest of the lesson. I'll show you one more trick with special effects and then I'll let you try. sometimes you want a shape or something else to control an object that's not itself. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to make a nice little star there. And I'm going to pull in one more picture. I'm going to pull in a badger. Looks like fun. Okay. And here's what I want to happen. I want the badger to be controlled by the star. Right? When I tap on the star, I want that badger to appear and disappear. And the reason for that is because if I tap on the plane, right, I have no indication that there's something there to tap to get it back. Not really. The cursor changes, but it's not by much. What I'd really like is to have the star control the badger. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tap on the star and apply a special effect. It will be hide reveal. Notice this time I'm not going to hide or reveal the selected object. I'd like to hide or reveal a different object. And it says place the picker on the object that you wish to hide or reveal. And it doesn't look like it, but you can actually take this little bullseye thing and drag it over to an object, just as I've done there. When I release it on the badger, I press OK. And now the badger is controlled by the star. Again, going to the student arrow, I can tap the star, the badger will hide and reveal. Okay. So that's how easy it is to use special effects. That gives you an idea now as to how to use the vertebrae or invertebrate. It gives you an idea as to how to do Who's That Scientist. You're just setting up a bunch of these little clues, a bunch of these little slides, one after the other after the other. You hit Easy Teach E Save. There's your lesson for a Friday afternoon. All right. There are some other special effects in there. There's one called the monochrome blur. There's one called a zoom blur, and really the best way to figure out what each and every one of those does is to start playing with it. Now there are some special effects that you will rarely use in here. For example, link to a page, link to a web page, link to an easy book, next page. These are special effects that I very rarely used in the classroom. Occasionally I'd play an audio file if you had a Western theme and you wanted to play a yeehaw or something like that that would go along with it. Certainly you could use that, but really the two that you want are enable disable effect and hide reveal. I can show you more about this as I visit Old St. Mary's in person soon. Until then, play with special effects, write down your questions, and I'll see you next time.